class. Today we're going to be meeting with Sheriff Scott Cohn from Montgomery. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all today? Okay, so we're going to start out with, what is your job title and how long have you been in the Sheriff's Department?
Well, I'm the first shift patrol supervisor, aka the lieutenant, aka I've been with the Sheriff's Department for 22 years.
It's cool. So, Mr. Scott, what is your education background?
Well, I have a bachelor's in justice and public safety with a law enforcement emphasis and a minor in psych from AUM, aka Auburn at Montgomery.
Okay, and how did you end up in this field?
Well, I had a family that was in law enforcement. For instance, my great uncle, he was a sheriff, and I had two other uncles that were also in law enforcement. And, I was planning on going into the military, but I got hit by a car. I remember it like it was yesterday.
So how do you deal with domestic violence situations and what training do you go through?
Well, it's changed throughout the years since laws have changed. We used to go by what the victim said. All of us did. But their stories will always change. At first they'll begin by saying, oh, he hit me. We get a 911 call. We don't know what's happening. We get there. Next thing you know, oh, I'm sorry. I just fell is what they typically say because they're scared to turn in their loved one.
So how often do you get DV calls?
Well, I'm on the first shift, so I work from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m., so it's really not that common for me to get them. But the people that work the 1 p.m. to 11 p.m., the second shift, they get a lot of calls because typically it's a lot of people that are coming home from work, they've been drinking, they're getting on each other's nerves. Alcohol usually plays a very large role in this. They also argue a lot when there's bad weather because they're stuck inside. That's another thing that we've realized.
That makes sense. Are there a lot of repeat calls?
Yes. Cops aren't referees or marriage counselors. Grown adults that don't get along, they probably just need to separate. But I do realize that it is hard for the abuser to escape from that situation.
The abuser?
Abused.
So what's the worst DV case you've ever had?
Well, the worst case evers are always the ones where there is a murder. And typically the victim is the one that gets murdered. Now, I've never actually been on the call for one, but I've arrived on the scene after the victim has been murdered, and that is just heart-wrenching.
Do you have any advice for victims?
Yes. Well, it's easy to say it, and it's hard for victims to do it, but just move on. You'll find somebody else.
For sure. Do you take the job home with you?
Yes, there's time that I get calls and I'm off and I get on my computer and I look those people up. Stuff comes in 24/7. There's always information coming through. I used to not find out about stuff until you get back to work, but now with cell phones it's become much easier.
So how many times have you fired your weapon and have you shot anyone?
Well, I have never actually fired my weapon. Therefore, I've never actually shot anybody.
Okay. People say that talking to the cops is always a bad idea, even when you've done nothing wrong. Is there truth to that? Have you ever not arrested someone because he was cooperative?
Yes. If you're honest from the beginning, then you're probably going to come out okay. However, if you lie, you're going to get screwed.
So, have you ever been injured on the job?
Yes. One time I got in a fight with a crackhead and I cracked my ribs. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Dang.
Please open up! Hello, ma'am. I got a call for a suspicious scent in the room. You got anything you want to tell me?
I don't got nothing, officer. I'm not doing this today. No.
Yes, you are.
No.
Yes, you are, ma'am. Today is the day. Ma'am, are you smoking right in front of my face?
It's a jewel. I have to explain this to everyone.
All right.
What
all
are
right.
you doing?
All right. Put your hands behind your back.
Oh, no. I do it.
So, can someone become a cop with misdemeanors on their record?
Well, it actually depends on what the charges are. A drug charge, you definitely cannot. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's understandable. What was the hardest part of your training, like in the academy?
It definitely had to be a lack of sleep. I was always so tired.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, how do you assess school shootings when it comes to entering school and protecting students?
Pre-Columbine police, we would typically wait for the tactical team and hold the perimeter to enter, but now we try to form a 4-man team, 1 front, 2 points, and 1 back. Sometimes there's a minimum of 5 deputies working 700 square miles. How long do you think it would take 4 of them to get there?
I mean, I'd say like 20 or 30 minutes if it's a good day and everyone's,
Off the road.
close by, but
No idea.
sounds difficult. Is it true that every time a cop discharges his firearm, the objective is to kill? In other words, are you ever trying to merely wound or incapacitate?
No. We are trained to stop the threat. We're aiming for center mass, shoot them in the leg, their hands will still work. We're just trying to get them down and stop them from hurting somebody else.
Okay. Are cops allowed to lie when interrogating a witness?
Yes, but we have to back it up. If they know that they don't have their prints or something, they'll ask you to prove it.
Makes sense. Do you keep tabs on the release dates of violent offenders that you help convict? Have you ever been worried that one would try to track you down?
Nope, I welcome somebody to track me down.
Okay. Is there a certain dress code or anything for officers? Because as I can see with you, you don't have long hair, you don't have a beard, you just got the stash
I got a
going.
mustache.
Yeah. That's
All right, so most departments, we do have a semi-military code for hair and beards. But some departments, they're more relaxed, aka mine. See, I got this fresh khakis on, I got these fresh pair of New Balances, I got this fresh shirt, I got these fresh glasses, I just spit on myself, and anyway, so I'm just fresh all over because my department is one of the more relaxed. But some cops get a waiver from their doctor saying they need a beard because of their skin, because they could get ingrown hairs.
And
Sounds
like a bunch of pansies to me.
Well, I get ingrown hairs up here, so that's the only reason I got hair up here.
So, we're almost done with our interview. My final 2 questions are, what is your favorite part of the job and what is your least favorite part of the job?
All right, my favorite part of the job, let's think. Well, I'll call it hunting. I sit in my patrol car and I watch like a hawk. I'm looking, I'm hoping that nobody's come up on me because they don't start none, won't be none. And if somebody's committed a crime or has warrant against them, then I'm gonna be up on them. They don't want none of this. And also, I like traffic stops because I like to find out what people are trying to hide. It's always fun catching the bad guy.
For sure. And your least favorite?
My least favorite would have to be seeing a child hurt, especially in domestic violence cases. It is just heart-wrenching for me.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice meeting you.
Good day, sir.
See you.
Like a cop car.